Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Espresso with me, Darius Lunchauskas. Today's the 13th of June 2018. So welcome everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday morning session, where we're going to have a look at the markets, what happened with them yesterday, what levels to watch out for today. But before we go in and check the charts out, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content of this webinar does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. So I'll just give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Also, a very quick reminder of our JFD Brokers research page here, which we update on a daily basis. We throw out different trading shoutouts, technical analysis, just a daily analysis on its own, of course, every morning. So, and you can also see that we do some analysis in different other languages like German, French, Italian. So, yep, feel free to visit us here, and I think you can find something useful for yourself, guys. So, but for now, let's quickly have a look at the markets. So the first one I want to touch on is the S&P 500. Well, probably not a lot to say here, but nevertheless, it's good to have a look at this one. There was not a lot of activity yesterday. We can see that the candle was a very small candle here, and yeah, I mean, it didn't quite move much, to be honest, and still got held here by this area here that I was talking about, the area between the 2790 and the 2800. So of course, yeah, slightly getting held here by the 2790 mark. So for now, of course, we're continuing to keep an eye on this area. We're still more bullish than bearish on this one, and we would like to see, of course, another nice move here above the 2790, or even actually the 2800, and probably then we could definitely for sure start aiming for the 2835 mark, approximately there. And of course, if that doesn't hold, well, we could end up moving higher again here, maybe even touching this 2875 mark, which was the high that we had here in January. Now, certainly on the downside, of course, if we suddenly move lower here, if we start seeing a sell-off, well, continue monitoring this key area of support. Now it became the area of support, the 2742. Previously it acted as a good level of resistance, but now, like I said, yeah, it could act as a very good area of support. So but certainly break below that could not only place this not only break this area, this key area of support, but also place the index below the 21 EMA, which also could be a small sign of bearishness coming into this index. So, but for now, of course, before we start looking into more downside, of course, we are keeping a close eye here on this area that I've got highlighted here above, the area between the 2790 and the 2800. So keep an eye on this one, guys. Looking at, well, actually probably the best performing index in the US right now is probably the Nasdaq, from the of course I'm talking about from the three main ones. So the Dow is also sitting in a similar situation, in similar position as the S&P, but the Nasdaq is kind of pushing higher here nicely and moving away from these highs here that we had in March, and the highs that we had here are the 7170, so we're getting a nice push higher. Certainly yesterday it met its resistance at around the 7215 mark, approximately there, which is marked by the highs of well, as from June highs, to be honest. So now we're testing this area. Certainly will be very interesting to see if we're gonna get a nice break here above or not. A break above the 7215 could open the path towards all-time new highs. So keep a close eye on this one, guys. I mean, this is something interesting developing here. I mean, I think that we could squeeze something, squeeze like a good trade out of it. So if we suddenly make a move below the 71.70 mark again, well, I mean, we could start aiming for this little level right here. Just let me quickly highlight that for you. And that's around the 71.05, and if that doesn't hold as well, well, I mean, this could turn out probably a feast for the bears, and we could see maybe this one moving lower again. So keep a close eye on this one for today especially, and to keep a close eye on today's close. Let's see what it wants to do. Looking at the FTSE 100, and the FTSE 100, well, I mean, it continues to trade here in this little range here, this little range between the 77.55 and the 76.10. I've just added this new level here, so we can see that this area continues to kind of prove itself as good area of resistance around the 77.55 mark. So we can see that we had a nice push lower. Certainly, it's a difficult index to predict, I mean, right now where it wants to head. So for us, probably we're just going to continue monitoring these levels. The 77.55, if we get a nice break above that, could and open the path towards this 77.95 area, approximately there, which was marked by the highs that we had here in January. So a nice break above that as well, I mean, could send this index towards the May highs that we had here, and around the 79.03 mark. So, but of course, for now, just let's continue monitoring this one. If we suddenly get a strong move lower here, still we're only going to become more bearish if we're going to see a nice break below the 76.10 mark, approximately there, and probably because a break below that could open the path towards these lower levels. For now, continue monitoring it. Let's see what it wants to do with these two key areas. Looking at the DAX, and the DAX is also slightly annoying, to be honest, and yesterday we saw this move towards this area right here, the 12,920 approximately there, but then we kind of retraced back down again and found its support around this key area here that I had highlighted for quite a while now, this 12,830 mark, approximately there. So now we're stuck in this little small range here. Certainly continue monitoring this one. For us to become more bullish on this one, we need to see a nice move, well, to be honest, not only above the 12,920, but probably also above the psychological 13,000. So a good level to watch. I mean, the 13,000 proved to be a key area of resistance and support in the past, so watch out for that one, of course. But if this starts rolling over to the downside, I mean, if we get a break below the 12,830, and then maybe eventually a break below this 200 EMA, we could see maybe another push towards this 12,600 area. Could be a good area of support initially, but then of course, if that doesn't hold, well, I mean, this could turn ugly for this index, and we could see maybe a move towards this 12,450. Of course, for now, let's not speculate too much on this one, and let's see what it wants to do with these key levels. Let's quickly touch on gold, even though there's, to be honest, not much to talk about here, because we can see it continues to get held here by this long-term upwards moving trend line. Just to remind you, this trend line had been running since December 2016, so currently testing that one. And well, I mean, until we see a nice break here, either through the bottom, through this trend line, and then maybe eventually below this 1290 mark, only then we're going to probably become more bearish, and we will probably start aiming for lower levels. Certainly we do have the other trend line which is passing through here. Just let me extend that a little bit for you guys, and yep, this trend line, it's slightly a shorter one, but nevertheless quite important, could be quite important, and that has been running since July 2017. So for now, keep a close eye on this one, guys. I mean, on the upside, we are continuing to monitor this 1307 mark, which which acted as a good level of resistance. So if we get a nice pop through this level, this could open the path towards these higher levels here. So for now, just probably continue monitoring it. Let's quickly touch on a few pairs now. The euro dollar, yesterday we can see, well, we slightly adjusted the levels here as well, because now we can see that there's I've left the 118.250, which continues to prove itself as a nice area of resistance, but I've added this new little small area here, the 117.250, which also proved to be a nice area of support. Certainly, if we get a break below this 117.250, certainly it could not only be more of a bearish sign because it's like it has broken a nice area of support, but also placed itself below the 21 EMA. So keep a close eye on this one. If we get a break below this area, below the 117.250, this could open the path towards this 116.500, and of course slightly below that we do have this long-term upwards moving trend line here that's running from January 2017. So good levels to watch here on the downside. But if this line holds, the 117.250 holds, and we get another push to the upside, for us to become more bullish on this one, we would need to see a nice break above the 118.250 in order to start considering higher levels. And on the upside, of course, we do have our psychological 120 level, which could act as a very strong area of resistance. Looking at another euro pair, which is the euro Aussie. Now, I was talking about this one yesterday and told you guys to keep a close eye on it, because we can see now we're testing this downwards moving resistance line here, the short-term downwards moving resistance line. And of course, if this continues to hold, then, well, I mean, we could see maybe a move lower here. But to be honest, I mean, at the moment, it's kind of trying to break through it. We can see that the bears managed to place the pair back below this trend, this downside resistance line. But certainly, of course, if we get some good information today as well, then we could see another pop here, maybe, and then we eventually could break here and close above this level, above this downside resistance line. And if we do get a close above this line, well, I mean, this could open the path towards higher levels later on. So for now, continue observing this one and be very careful. Of course, always have your stops in place. Looking at the GBPUSD now, of course, certainly a big day for UK. We got some UK data coming out soon, so watch out for these two key areas here. So of course, on the upside, keep an eye on the 134.70 mark. So I've slightly adjusted a few levels here. So if we get a nice break above the 134.70, this could open the path towards this 200 EMA that we've got here, which will probably always also coincide with the with this 136.15 mark as well. So certainly keep a close eye on that one. And also, if we get a break below here, below the 133.40, certainly this could open the path towards these lows that we had here in May. So a good level to watch here below is the 132.05 mark, but we'll only consider that level if we get a nice break here below the 133.40. So there are some good levels to watch, and probably we could get a bit of action here in the pound against the dollar pair. So also GBPCAD, and a good one to observe, also sitting here slightly below this downwards moving trend line. Probably continue monitoring this one. Let's see if it wants to break it or not. If it breaks it, well, we could start aiming for higher levels. Probably a good one to watch here would be this 175.700 mark. But if this trend line continues to hold, well, probably continue monitoring this level here, the 173.150. Now a break below that could send this pair a little bit lower here. Certainly we could see a test of this 200 EMA, which also coincides with the 172.600 mark. But if both of these are not going to be able to withhold the downwards pressure, well, we could start aiming for the lower levels here. But of course, for now, let's just see what it wants to do with these key areas that I've got highlighted. Certainly, it will be interesting. Probably it would be interesting to see a nice pop here to the upside, but then again, market never does what we want it to do. So just continue monitoring it, guys. Keep an eye, take action only on the breakouts. One last pair that I wanted to touch on is the USDJPY. Nice continuation here within this channel formation, this short-term channel formation, and we can see it is pushing higher. Certainly, we've got the 110.800 level, which is the next key area of resistance for us, and slightly above that, we could get a test of the upper bound of this channel. And if that doesn't hold, well, I mean, we could start aiming for the 111,400, which was marked by the highs here that we had in May. So that was the highest point in May. So good level to watch as well. On the downside, if we would get a break below the 110,250, certainly this could turn a bit more bearish, and we could maybe see this pair moving lower towards the lower bound of this rising channel formation, this short-term rising channel formation. Okay guys, I will have to wrap it up here. I hope you found it useful. Please join me later on today in my traders tea time at 13:15 GMT, 14:15 British Summer Time. But for now, thank you very much guys, and bye bye.